Welcome to the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. For group exercise junkies and enthusiastic classgoers, we'll explore and uncover authentic, thought-provoking, and heartwarming industry education and inspiration from entertaining, badass fitness pros. And now your host, creator of Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength, Warrior Combat, Warrior Revolution, and Warrior Kids Group fitness brands, Ellen DeWord. Here we grow.
Welcome, everybody, to Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. I cannot believe who I have on the show today. I have Emily and Amber from High Fitness. Hi, girls.
Hello. How's it going? Thanks so much for having us.
It's so exciting. And if you happen to be watching the video replay on YouTube, we just have to talk about Amber's backdrop right now.
Oh yeah, I'm at the chiropractor. This is the story of our lives, and I love it. How I need the t-shirt. Was it a t-shirt or a booklet? This is anaerobic lifestyle.
No, it was a little notebook. Anaerobic lifestyle.
I know I need that notebook because we're always just running and going. So my chiropractor was behind. The message came up, we're ready to rock. So I'm like, do you have a little room that I can just go in and kind of do this podcast? That's how we roll. That's our lives. And I love that we're bringing this up because you know what? Nothing in life is perfect and you just make it work and it always ends up being awesome is what we find out.
I love it. Oh, already a good little nugget for our listeners. So I'm so excited to get to know both of you a little bit on this episode. So full disclosure to the audience, we don't really know one another very well. We kind of travel in the same circles. Basically, Amber and Emily own and operate High Fitness, and they are further in the process. Like they started sooner in this endeavor than me starting the Warrior Instructor Academy. So I have seen them. I have seen what they're doing. They are definitely disrupting the fitness industry with their formats and who they are. And so I feel like I have a lot in common with you both already, just in that we're entrepreneurial. We clearly love group fitness. We created our own fitness brands. And when I asked the two of you what topic was near and dear to your heart that you had a burning desire to speak to this audience about that would give value to them, you literally said something that is so close to my heart too. You said you wanted to talk to them about you, your authentic self, you being your true superpower. And literally, this is my love language too. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that topic. But first, how about you guys just introduce yourselves? Where are you from? Do you have families? What's your story?
Yeah. So it's so fun that you don't know anything about our story because usually it's the question we get is how do you guys even know each other? Because I live in the United States and in Utah and she lives in Canada. So that's people already who know us, but you don't even, I think, know that about us. So that's what's so fun about this. So, well, I'll just give a quick background. So my name is Emily Nelson and I live in Bountiful, Utah. And I have 3 children. I'm married to my husband and we have 3 children and I have 2 girls and a little boy. We share custody. That's what Amber and I would say. We share custody of the last one because she has 2 girls. So I have a 14-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And when we started High Fitness, my oldest was 4 and my second was 6 months old. So our children, I should say our children, literally don't even know what life outside of obsession with group fitness and High Fitness is. They literally don't even know. But what's super fun, and Amber can tell you about her real quick, but I lived in Canada for 3.5 years, and that's where Amber and I met. And so that's kind of how our story is. But when I lived there, we both worked at the same gym, and that's where we both kind of began our group fitness journeys 16, 17 years ago. But the crazy thing is when I lived there, we weren't best friends. I mean, we were coworkers and acquaintances and we helped each other, but it was not because now we're fam. I mean, we're embedded deep, right? We love each other. Our kids love each other. We call each other to talk about business. And then we are on the phone for 2 hours talking about life. And so I think it's fun that this was all happened as kind of starting as acquaintances, but it's grown. We're one big happy family. But so that's about me. I actually was born and raised in Utah. I moved, away. We lived there for 3.5 years. My oldest daughter was born there. So she loves to say that she was a dual citizen, which is so cool. And I'm the youngest of 5 children. So I'm like the baby, and I've been cheerleaded my whole life by my siblings who are amazing supporters, and which is a big part of our story too. So
it is a huge part of our story because, okay, so where we met, it's called Heavens. The gym is called Heavens.
Okay.
And that's where I met my husband too, my 2 life-changing people. I met at Heavens. Can you even handle this?
Oh, God bless. God was there.
Oh, and
always.
I am so into that stuff. Like I am always telling people, like, the universe is shoving you where it wants you to go. You just have to follow. Don't fight. Don't swim upstream. Let it take you to where you need to go, because it is true, and it's so changed my life. So, my background is that, well, I'll start that I had a very tumultuous kind of childhood, and my dad actually moved to Utah when I was quite young. He got married and moved. So, he moved, and that was really, really hard on me. And, I kind of had a bit of a tumultuous childhood where, I was here, there, kind of everywhere, floating between houses. And, I always kind of would try to change myself to adapt to, like, get a boy to like me, or to get to be in a crowd, or like I'd always kind of like change myself to adapt to that. And so when I was working at Heavens and I met Emily, I was trying to fit in with the group fitness scene, and I kind of wasn't finding my place, because back then it was like kind of old school instructors, and people were afraid to kind of give you tips, because then people would go to your class instead of theirs. It was kind of more of a dog eat dog situation.
Like competitive.
Competitive. Very competitive. They didn't want to tell you any tricks. They were like, I'm not telling you, because then people will go to your class and not mine. So like kind of that was the vibe. So here I am at Heavens, and in comes Emily and her husband. They looked like straight off the beach in California, gorgeous, young. So this
was 15 years ago. I was much younger.
Oh gosh, you're still gorgeous. And so she's 8 years younger than me, and in she comes, and just with this amazing essence about her, where no one was competition, and everything she wanted to rise everybody up around her. And it was so crazy that it's like, what? Like, so she was a naturally awesome aerobics instructor, because she taught dance her whole life, like she had that upbringing, she had the dance, and like I was just getting into it. So she was naturally like, we took the course together, and she could have taught the class the next day, and I'm like flailing, trying to get along. But I'm very athletic and not a dancer at all. So she said sorry.
I'm more like you. Like I'm more like you.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're for me. Yeah. Okay. Carry on.
Yeah, and we're the same in the way that I'm more of like rocker vibe, and she's kind of like cheerleader vibe. You know what I mean? That was just kind of our.
I have my Whitney Houston shirt on today because she is my one true love.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, that's so Emily. Like Whitney Houston is their spirit animal, and I'm more like, okay, well, I'm into like, the Beastie Boys, like we're just different, but great. Like, it's awesome. So when we were in this AFLCA course, like it's like fitness training course, and I was kind of struggling to find my way, she's like, you're taking dance fitness, you're going to learn how to teach Zumba, and we're going to teach together, and we're going to have so much fun, and you're going to be awesome. And I'm like, hell no, we're not. You are, but I'm not. And she's like, yes, you are. Don't worry. You can just use the routines I make up. We'll be a little duo. You got this. And I did it with her, and we started to do stuff, and of course I was not at all like her. Like her Zumba classes were amazing there, and I would kind of dumb down things and kind of do fitnessy things instead, because I'm not child saying 1, 2, 3. Anyways, we got a good thing going, and we started kind of teaching these Zumba classes, and she was always, like I said, about rising people up. There was never like, oh, she's taking the course. Like, no, it was like, no, we're doing it. Let's go. You've got this. So I really got into a groove, and I was loving life, and we were teaching these group fitness classes, these dance fitness classes. At the end of the day, we were not teaching Zumba at all. We were not doing the brand justice. There was zero Latin. This was just like our own, like,
This was the Amber and Emily show.
The Amber and the Emily show.
Well, I feel like when I was there, we were still true to it. A little bit.
Yeah. There was a little bit of Latin going on, but yeah. So basically what happened is we have this thing going, and then another element of it was my husband's like very kind of entrepreneur mind. He's like, girls, why are you teaching at the gym for $25? Rent a space, charge per head, then you can make as much as you want. So we did, and it was fun.
You opened it
fun.
Together.
Well, no, we just rented like a community center, and we would have. But I think when people think, they see these like packed classes and things now, it's like, no, you don't understand. We rented the community center and 3 people showed up and half of them were related to us. You know what I mean? Like at first, I just mean like to start, like everybody starts somewhere, and like, it's like we've been there with 1 person in a class and we've been there with 300 in a class.
Great.
You know what I mean? And it's those classes, like even since starting high, I've had one, like way back in the day, had 1 person. It's like, you know what? Every class teaches you as an instructor, helps you be better. So yeah, we rented it and our family came. No, I'm just kidding.
Community center. You rented a community
I think it was like an Anglican church, and
I was.
She's Mormon. We just rented this random church. We didn't even know what it was. We're like, okay, we'll take it. And we were teaching to our friends and family. So here we are. We got into a groove, and then Emily's leaving, and I'm just like, this sucks, because I had just
your family had to move to Utah.
Yeah, we were moving back home for my husband to go back to school and a job. Yeah.
But it was always temporary.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask if you knew.
It was always temporary.
Oh, no.
It was always.
This is a cliffhanger. So what happened to the Anglican Church Community Center?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. This is hilarious. So and this is funny too. You know how I'm like, the universe is shoving you where you're supposed to go. Oh. Emily came because her husband had work in Calgary, Canada, where I live. Now he has no ties to Calgary, Canada at all, but it brought her to me.
Yeah, he got a job offer there, and that's why we went. But it's like we were supposed to go there for us to meet. And I think what's interesting is like I never had a desire to be a entrepreneur. Like that was not like ever something I wanted to do. In fact, it was something my husband wanted to do. And so as we further the story, I just think it's so like things were supposed to happen this way because we knew we were supposed to do it. But so I moved back to Utah.
Okay.
She moved back to Utah. I'm completely devastated. But she leaves and she takes the shirt off her back that said, love yourself. She had the sweatshirt on that said, love yourself. Took it off her back, gave it to me. I still have it on a mannequin in my office. And she's like, Amber, you've got this. Just be you. Like, you're Brad. Get out there. And like, I'm tearing up. Like,
look, you do this to me every time.
I know. It's just like, what? Just be me? Okay, here I go. Like, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do this for Emily. I'm going to show her that I'm going to be me and I'm going to rock it. And I did. I started teaching my own thing, and it slowly progressed into like very minimal dance and a lot more fitness because I'm just not a dancer, but we'd still share choreography and we would like still talk on the phone and all these things. But like, and the minute she said this to me, I'm like, I have to tell every single girl on the planet this. Like, it seems so simple, but it's like, it's so life-changing. Why doesn't everyone know this? Like, just be me, that's it. And it's like, oh wow, this is crazy. So that's where, and then I'll let Emily take her perspective from here, from where it went for her.
Yeah. So I moved back to Utah and I dove pretty hard back into just teaching all sorts of fitness and things like all the Les Mills brands and, the Zumba, and we did the TRX and all, like all the things. I love group fitness, and Amber does too. Like that is our happy place. I could be happy being just a group fitness instructor for the rest of my life. Like, yes, we started a format and now we're considered, the owners and CEOs, but I'm always like, at the end of the day, when I show up and teach my classes, I am a group fitness instructor just like everybody else. I'm not Emily, the owner of High Fitness. When I show up to my classes in my different gyms, I'm Emily, your teacher for the day. And I think that's like, I love it. From the very first class I taught, I think it was like a step aerobics class at the Calgary JCC. I was like, this is me. Like I am supposed to do like, and it seems so, like I mean, anyone who's listened to this, if they're a group fitness instructor, they get it. But to the outside world, they're like, that's not really a job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's
our
just,
audience gets it.
yeah. It's
just, and she resonates with people. There was one participant that ever complained about Emily's class, and it was because she was kind of like a bitter person, and I think Emily's like vivacious happiness just pissed her off. Like, she was like, yeah, too happy, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only participant that's ever not liked Emily's class.
No, I'm sure there's others, but she was vocal about it. She didn't like me.
About it.
You were too perky and happy. She's like, you know, it pissed her off.
It ties into the you being you, and that not every single body is gonna love us. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm like, listen, you be you. Don't try to be me when you're teaching. We're all so different, and some people are gonna resonate with you, and some people aren't. So I moved back to Utah. I'm teaching all over. I just love it. I'm just, have this young little baby, and she's growing up, and my husband's in school and work, and I'm just doing this as a side job. And I started to build a bit of a following here once I moved back, just at local gyms.
A bit.
My husband liked to call me a tri-county fitness. We were joking, a tri-county. You don't get out. So Amber calls me. I am 2 weeks postpartum with my second baby, and she's like, listen, I'm doing this thing and you're going to do it with me. And she's like, we're going to do it. So like, cause we would pass back and forth. Like, I'd be like, okay, I do a toner second. And she's like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to add toners in like more throughout. Like, she was evolving the High formula, and she came up with the name, and she's like, it's called High. It came to me like a lightning bolt, which if you see our logo, which
I love it.
We just rebranded actually less than a month ago.
Wait, hold on.
There's still a boat. There's still a boat, but we literally rebranded like 3 weeks ago and launched a whole new brand. So, yeah. So, anyways,
hold on a second. Wait, time out. I'm missing. So, when you were all in Canada together at the Anglican thing, and you
at the Anglican church, yes,
the family that grew into a group. Okay, so before you moved, you had done all the different types of like. I guess then it was more Zumba, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
But were you all I know we're getting there. I haven't really asked yet about High Fitness and how it started, but was it already a seed or not yet? Not in Canada.
No.
Okay,
not when I lived there.
Okay, so then Emily moves back to Utah, and Amber's heart is broken, but the sweatshirt and okay, so anyway.
I got the sweatshirt. I'm inspired. I'm empowered.
So then,
and I've always been a bit of like, because I kind of had to raise myself. I had that bit of street smarts. Like I'm the opposite. I was always like, what can I do to be an entrepreneur? How can I make a business? How can I make money from this? I was kind of like a street little rat, like making deals and figuring things out. So it was kind of always my dream to kind of be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I actually, when I was young, opened a barber shop for 10 seconds and then realized that I hated cutting hair, and I was like, okay, this is not for me. Okay, next. So like it kind of was me to kind of be like that. So she left.
When Emily went back, when you go back and you're teaching lots of different things, Les Mills and TRX and Zumba and stuff like that, then you guys you were still like besties and talking all the time. And then because I don't know what you mean when you're talking about a toner. So then you started to create something at this point, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still what we're teaching, but we're kind of like evolving it into what it is. Like it was a slow process. It wasn't like, okay, here's what it's going to look like. It was like 1 minute we're like, okay, let's not do all cardio tracks. Let's add some toner tracks to our.
What were you calling it before it was High Fitness? What were you calling it?
I think we were just teaching Zumba. I think we were just teaching Zumba, but we were kind of like making our own thing.
Okay.
Like, as I said,
she wasn't fully like teaching. She was just like Zumba, like there was some freedom there. That's what I said. So
yeah.
There's like a warm up, and then I told her like my second song, I would do like squats, and that's what I meant by like a toner. Like now we call it a toner, but I was like, hey, to warm up the body, instead of like straight into cardio, it was like I would kind of do that. And she was like, that's really interesting. Like, I wonder, and that's like as she was not teaching that anymore, she started to be like, I wonder if you added those throughout, like mixing the anyway. So that's what we mean by was like we would bounce these ideas.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I remember what happened that made me go, okay, we got to start our own brand. So I'd go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever the thing is that we were teaching, I would go on vacation and get a Zumba sub. And I'd come back and my participants would be like, we were freaking Latin dancing all the whole time. And I'm like, that's what Zumba actually is. Like, they actually, like, this is some crazy thing that I'm trying to put
I'm
together.
doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong.
Yes. Yes. But unlike high fitness that is pre-choreographed and we tell them exactly what to do, Zumba, you make things up. Like it's kind of your own thing.
You're
so
allowed.
It's a very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were
hence
not.
Hence why we don't give anybody freedom. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Well, we weren't. I was not giving it justice. Maybe Emily was doing. I think you were doing some.
I was salsa dancing. Cumbia.
Shake your body. The conga.
The conga. Come on.
Da-na-na-na-na.
Yeah, for sure. I was congaing.
So I'd come back and my participants would be like, we were freaking Latin dancing the whole hour. What the hell was happening? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, and then I went to my husband and I was like, I'm not doing that brand justice. Like Emily and I really come up with something that's different where it's fitness moves instead of, so I would always dumb them way down because I couldn't, do all the, what shall I say, 1, 2, 3 stuff. So like, we'd make up routines. I'd dumb them down even further. And then people loved the simplicity of having fun, but then just having simple fitness moves. And so I said to my husband, I'm like, I think we need to do our own thing. Like I'm not doing the Zumba brand justice. People don't understand what it is coming to it. They think it's Zumba. It's not. And he's like, but I think that's what initially gets you people. And I was like, I know, but I just don't think that it's right. I didn't feel morally good about it because it was like, I'm not doing that brand justice. And B, I was just like, we need to do our own thing. And I literally like, what is this thing going to be? And high fitness came to me with a lightning bolt as the eye. And that's when now we're going back to where Emily left off.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, she calls me and she's like, okay, so we're going to do this thing. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Good luck. I'm kidding. But I was just like, I believed in her and I was wearing her shirt. Like she printed, it was like the first iteration. She like went and printed off some shirts and she sent me one and I was wearing it. And I was like, I'm so proud of you. And she's like, no, like it has to be you because this message. So I was like, okay, I'll think about it. But I just, at that point in my life, I was just like barely postpartum. My husband just lost his job. Like we didn't have a job. We didn't have income, which is like, what better way to start a business? You got nothing to lose, So we go up to Canada and Amber and I, kind of talk things through. What would this look like? What would the brand look like? What would our relationship look like and ownership? And what would we do? And it was like, I remember like sitting in a car. We were in like a parking lot in Southern Alberta. And not Southern, but South Calgary. And I remember this. And then we got in the car, my husband and I were driving home. And like, I was like, I have to do this. Like, it was like the most, overwhelming feeling, but it wasn't even about the fitness, Ellen. It was about, there are so many amazing fitness, which when we did start it, it was needed in the industry. And that's kind of why it took off. But it was about so much more than fitness. I like knew deep down, I was like, I need to do this because this message, our message needs to get out there. And this is what we need to do. And so it was so crazy. Like both of our husbands, this is the point where I have to say, my husband always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but he was working. We were doing this. Her husband's working. They were like in like full support to take the children, to help with the kids, to support us financially, everything. Because, when you start a business, like you're not making any money. And I think that's like the biggest thing is people, even when it, it really took off, everyone's like, oh, there must be. It's like, we haven't taken a paycheck in 3 years. And the first time we took a paycheck was like year 3 and it was like $15,000 for the whole year. We work 100 hours a week. I mean,
we were so pumped.
We were so pumped. We did something.
But like Emily said, we had husbands that financially supported us and were full-time parents.
Yeah.
Like we were leaving. I was flying to Utah. She was flying. Like we were just nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And I just do want to clarify something about like when people are like, well, Amber started it in Canada. Like it was always the vision that it was us doing it. I just had to like get the wheels turning to get her on board. And I was like, so I would like print t-shirts with this guy called the Dude in his garage and make like 10 of them. But what would happen, and I was shocked, is I'd print these t-shirts, I'd put them out at my class, and they'd sell out. And I'd be like, people want the t-shirts? This is nuts. Like, this is so crazy. And so that's when it was like, once I had sent her the shirt and kind of, you know, I was like sending her out the old, you know, fishing line, being like, okay, we got the shirt, we got the name, we got this.
I have a question.
And like she said,
would you have done it without her? If she didn't, would you have done it without her?
No, I don't think so. Maybe on a smaller scale, like a local instructor, but doing this whole gong show, it couldn't have happened without her, and it couldn't have happened with it. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Like, no.
Okay. Emily, when you said like it wasn't so much about the workout, even though it was, and the industry was like hungry for that at the time, which I agree, because I saw that from my perspective. You mean it was about the message? Like,
yeah. So when I had that like overwhelming feeling, and my husband and I called her from the road, I was like, I just knew that people needed to see that they're amazing and they're wonderful as they are. I think in the fitness industry, especially at the time, we're almost on year 10. Like, we're hitting our 10-year anniversary this year. 10 years ago, Instagram was new, and it was all about do this to get the abs. And fitness instructors had to look a certain way. They had to be this certain way. And we wanted to be like, and this is why I really think our instructors took off for a minute, is we were like, you love this class, why don't you teach it? It was like, and before it was like, well, we just took like your average female who loved this and said, we will teach you how to do this. And like, 85% of our fitness instructors had never taught fitness before. Once they took our certification, they're now like group fitness leads at gyms. They're running bosses. They're running EOS. They're like, you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was another element of it.
You have a low barrier of entry, is what I like to call it.
Yeah. And so we just were like, we'll take your passion. I think you can teach skills, not every skill, but I do think you can take that passion and that like personality. It's like, I love this. I want to do this. I want to inspire others. So it's like, we kind of took home these like A-type stay-at-home moms, like in essence, that are kind of like, okay, I went to college. I have these education. I am like, love fitness, but I don't know what to do this. Like, then let's do this. But it was about the fitness. Yes, the class, we wanted to create something that was as fun as it was like a good workout. Like, you don't want to leave and be like, I didn't even sweat, you know, like you want a good workout at the time. And we've evolved the brand, which we'll talk about. But at the time, we wanted to create this place where everyone belonged. Everyone was a part of it. Like, we still say that, like, come get your high, those endorphins, like, you know. And we just, in our new branding, launched this saying, you can do fun things, because all day you do really hard all day long, like really hard crap all day long. So you're allowed to do something fun. I think we've been saying that since the beginning, but just not in that sort of messaging. But it's like, especially the fitness industry right now, it's like, well, you need to do this and you shouldn't do that, because then you won't look like, and it's like, listen, like, let's move our bodies. Do we want longevity in our careers and our life? I want to be 70 on the mountain with my husband. I don't want to be miserable. You know what I mean? Like, do things that bring you joy. And that's like from the very beginning, like, find joy, be happy, and move your body because it makes you feel good, not because you're trying to burn off last night's dinner. And it is a constant battle to fight against diet culture. It is a nasty beast. And just when I think we've gotten on top of it, it rears its head again, and we will continue to fight and get loud about fighting against diet culture and about anyone telling you that you should look a certain way and be a certain way and do certain things. So that's honestly, at the end of the day, when I say it's about the fitness and it's not, it's like, I choreograph tracks all day. We do fitness, you know, we certify instructors, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's that feeling of like, I'm okay to be me here. And that's what we want to do.
We always use the analogy of a golden retriever and a chihuahua. A chihuahua is spending its life trying to be a golden retriever. A golden retriever is trying to spend its life being a chihuahua. How miserable of a life is that when they're the gorgeous golden retriever and the adorable little chihuahua? Just live your best life who you are, because it's impossible for you, the chihuahua, to be the golden retriever. It's just not possible. So why is that the goal? Like, it's just so mind-boggling. And it's like, if society said everyone needs to have the same personality, everyone would be like, no. So we don't understand how this mindset of everyone has to have the same body has even happened. It's just like, what? This is so stupid. So yeah, that's our why, is that when we have people like, just like what, when it happened to me, and I was like, holy cow, what a game changing to just be me. When we have people coming to us, and you can just see when they've had this epiphany, you can see the light just shining, because they're like, those, when they come to us and they're like, you changed my life, and we're like, no, we just gave you the gold nugget that should be so obvious that everyone should know. But we
Yeah.
spread the word. That's our.
And I think it's the same thing with fitness instructors. I think sometimes we think every fitness instructor needs to teach the same way or be the same way, or that there's one way to be. Amber and I are very different when we teach, like very different, like the way we cue, the way we, are in our movements and this, and that's what makes everybody so unique. And I think that's like leaning in when we say like, yes, as a human being, we need to lean into like being you is your superpower, but so is you as a fitness instructor. Because if you've ever tried to be something you're not as a fitness instructor, or try to do, it's like it's painful, right? Like you can't do that. And so I think that's, as a fitness instructor, to find what makes you unique. What are you really good at? Like, what's your superpower? I may not be really good at like, I'm trying to think, like, pre-Q or something like that, but I'm really good at, showing options or modifications or what, like, there's so many things that it's like we can always improve and get better, but lean into your superpowers or your quirks or your personality that makes you shine. And I think that's so important as well.
Yeah, I love so much. I want to say, first of all, I love like the passion and the why behind your brand, and the anti-diet culture and the self-acceptance. And I just know it starts from the top and trickles into, so I'm sure that your entire community is people with the same heart and mind. Like, I'm sure it's the culture of your whole squad, all of your instructors, like living that mission and vision. So, because we manifest culture, like we speak it, we attract who we are and what we're like and what we care about. And so, I have a very, very similar thing going in my culture, because I probably came into it. I mean, I was with Beachbody, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. I want to say in bold letters, but it was like look at the name of the company. And so it was very like perfection focused. And so that was something I wanted to do really, really differently with what I created. I was going to ask you guys something else.
Yeah, I love that. I love the beach ball. Like it's
yeah,
the perfect story.
The name says everything. The name says everything. I was going to say, and Amber, I feel like you started to say something about this like way early at the beginning of our episode when you guys were talking about kind of your differences and stuff. But I also was someone that tried to like fit in, and like had a time in my, like, maybe it wasn't like an overnight instantaneous acceptance of myself. Maybe it was gradual, but there was definitely a time in my life where I really lived to try to make everyone happy and like me, which means I'm incongruent with who I am. I'm like, it's a splintering of myself. And it's stressful because it's stressful to try to be this one day, and then this way, and then this way online, this way in front of my church friends, and this way not in front of my church friends. And like, there's no peace, and there's no joy, and there's no like assurance that someone really does love you, because who are you? So it's been a journey of like learning to become myself, and in becoming more and more and more uniquely me on this planet, I have shed relationships,
Yes.
And
yes.
then the ones that I didn't shed, it was like, oh, like these are my people.
You fall to the right place. You're not, I was always, trying to get, always like the boys that didn't like me and treated me like crap, and always like that, and then once you become you and you like attract the right people, like Emily, like my husband just like loves me, every crazy thing about me. Like he just accepts me for, like, it's crazy. Like he just gets me on a level And it's because I've always been myself with him, and he just adored me because I am who I am. And it is such a it's such a life-changing lesson. And, both of us our husbands were unexpected. Like, when you're young and you kind of have a list of what you think it's supposed to look like and who you're going to be with. And then when you meet that person, you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm into, because it's not because of there's anything wrong with them, but just like your kind of list of what you thought it would look like, it didn't end up that way. And now we're both like so obsessed with our husbands. And that was a lesson for us to learn that. And it, like I said, our husbands are cute, adorable, amazing dudes, but like, maybe it wasn't what we put in our heads, but the lesson for us was like, oh my gosh, like the person's soul and spirit is who you're supposed to know and be with. It doesn't matter if they're 5'2" or you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter.
It reminds me of when you said, like, don't fight it. Go with it, what the universe is giving you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And my husband kept getting shoved in front of me over and over and over until I opened my eyes and I was like, and now I live my best life. And I shudder to think, had I not like embraced his love. Like I am so happy. It's
something
crazy.
You should know about Amber is after we're done with High Fitness, she's going to be a matchmaker. So relationship advice, group fitness advice.
Yes, you're right. I am.
Emily,
I want to do a dating app that is kind of like Love is Blind, but it's not like, that whole thing is cheesy, but you would put interests and then a computer would like match you up based on that. And then for the first week, you don't get a picture, you don't get nothing. You have to organically connect. And then you slowly get tidbits. Like now you can get a picture. And then a month later, you could do a video call so that it's like a soul connection as opposed to like, because the world's so physical. And that's why so many relationships tank, is because when it's physically based, it just isn't authentic.
You better trademark that now that you just gave.
I know. I just gave that away to everybody.
That's yours.
Emily, get our developers on it. It can be our side hustle.
That part out.
But it is. But that's what it's about. And that's even with friends or just like the people you surround yourself with. If you're not being authentic, then the relationships aren't authentic. So that's why it's so game changing for these people that teach high fitness, is they become their authentic selves. People that are attracted to their authentic selves start coming to their class. They make all these friends that like adore them and they adore them back. And they're like, this is so amazing. But it all stems back to just the authenticity of who you are to your core, but that's all because of Emily. Like this crazy chain. It's been a chain of events that is like come together because she empowered me. I empowered her to start a business. We empowered participants to start teaching. Their participants started it's like this crazy out of hand chain reaction. That's the best thing that's ever happened, because it's like, yay, we just need to do a tidal wave and get rid of diet culture, and then everything would be awesome.
So actually, speaking of like this chain reaction domino effect, I think it's interesting where your story began. Something that you said early is that Emily basically, and I'm paraphrasing it, came in to Canada into that heaven studio with an abundant mindset. Like she wasn't like you say, like the caddy, the competition, like, I know this about teaching. I know to turn my volume up here, or like, I know to do this or whatever to stand out as an instructor. Like we just wanted to hide those things so that it was like a competitive market, and that none of this would have happened. But for her coming in like, hey, I'll help you. Hey, you want to be better? All right, let's go. So.
And we implement that into our trainings. We're like, how many secrets can we tell them to make them the best flipping instructors they've ever seen coming out of the gate? Like that's part of our shtick, is that we're like, we empower them with every single little sneaky tip we know so that they have it.
Oh, I love it. So, and then this is like slightly off of the topic of what this episode is about, but I also appreciate like just that it came up. that in starting a business, because so many of our listeners are in their own way solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, managers, whatever, just that like the whole like grind and like you don't see the return right away. You know, you don't see the paycheck right away. And so
no, I will tell you though, something, if anyone's at the very beginning of starting their own thing, it is special. I will say, like, it is the hardest thing you will ever do. And we went full send. Like, this part of the story, when I cut off, we went in and it was like, I went to my group fitness managers. I'm like, I'm teaching this class and this is what I'm going to do. And this is how it's going to go. And they're just like, whatever. I'm like, I promise it's going to be good. I told friends, like, we started as grassroots. I was like, if you get 5 friends, I'll come to Salt Lake, which is like 30 minutes away. I was like, and then you bring 5 friends and this is what we're going to do. It was just like, so organic. But we did the social media. We ran the credit cards. We did the back end of the website. I don't even know how to do that now, but like, we just taught ourselves. I ran ACH cards. We went to a marketing place and they said it'll be $10,000 for this new logo and website. And we said, we can't afford that. Can we pay you in monthly installments? And they were like, no one's ever done that. Sure. Amber and I would teach classes, send in our, $500 combined a month to literally pay off the website. And we did it all, right? We traveled, we wrote the manuals, we did all the trainings, we traveled, we did everything while raising little families. But here's the deal. That was a special time. That was such a special time, like to be in every touch point of the business, and we had nothing to lose because we were just like, this is amazing. We were like blinded by like, this is amazing. It's going to be amazing. And I think you do need that. You need that, like that blind passion, and also just like,
naive.
You have to believe it to your core, and your why has to be way more than money. Like, I don't think we ever thought that we would actually make enough money to like, if we just were like, this is amazing. I don't care if we don't make any money. We just want to do this, right? Like, it'd be great at the end if it, all being away from our families paid off. You know what I mean? Like, but it was
that's a thing too with somebody starting out, is everything doesn't have to be perfect. Like, until recently, we had never had a loan or an investor, because we would, like Emily said, would teach the classes to pay it off. Like, we did it very soon, and it wasn't perfect. It was pretty like rough. We look back now, we're like, oh gosh, that looks rough. Like our logo and all the things, nothing was perfect. We didn't.
But people loved it.
Yeah,
people loved it.
Yeah.
And they still are like, we miss the old videos when it was just like so ghetto, like.
But they feel like they were part of building what you've built today. They feel like they were part of that ground floor for you.
Yeah, which also can be hard though. On the flip side, as we have grown, we now have a team of 30 employees. We have 3 different formats. So we have high, low, and yo, which high is our original format. Low is a low impact version of it. And yo is our deep stretch set to music. All amazing, so fun. But what's hard is we now have 30 employees, right? And these amazing trainers in this. It's hard for people when they've been with you, they want you to play small forever. So when you decide to go big, which is what we've done, we were like, we're ready to go big. We're ready to just invest everything, put our whole souls into this. We did this whole rebrand. We have our new apps, everything. It throws people off, and it can be hard, because I think when you've started at the bottom, people want to see that, and it's hard for people to realize we're the same Emily and Amber as we were 9 years ago. We're the exact same people. We're still quirky. We're still imperfect. We're still group fitness instructors. Like we said, like we honestly go and show up and teach our classes. We're the same people, but it throws people off as well. So just know that if you ever feel like you don't know how to play small anymore, sorry, my children came in. This is real life, you guys.
Oh, it's real life.
They had really explicit, directions to not come in the house, but it's okay. So I think it's like, just know that it's okay to like start and be imperfect, but it's okay to go big, because you deserve whatever hard work you've worked on. And no matter what that is, whether it's small or big, you're amazing and you're doing what you should do.
Yeah. And one thing that we did wrong, I'm not going to say wrong because it was a great lesson, but we wanted people to be a part of it so bad. We'd allow people to kind of not represent the brand the way that we'd want them to, in the way that they would change choreography or not have the mindset of like, they'd be like a body perfect mindset or whatever it was that didn't align with us. And we would kind of just like turn a blind eye because we wanted them to be a part of it so bad. But we've learned that it's like it spreads like a cancer, like it's bad news bears. So like you're better off like just saying, oh, well, we just have it, you're not doing it the way we want it, you're not amplifying what we want. And just because whole cities would get like a toxic attitude because of like we'd allow like one, you know what I mean? We would let things
kind of
go.
opens Pandora's box, and
Yes, and when you first start, you're just so happy to have anyone wanting to be a part of it. You're like, you look past the things that aren't working for you. But our advice would be
almost like being a parent that is like, it's easy to like not discipline some little thing because you're busy or like whatever, but no, it's actually better for the child and for the relationship.
Address it. Yes, that was something that there's a city that we're still like, it's recovered and it's like one of our best cities now, but there was a point where it was like such a bad environment because people would, not be doing it, or it just like got a bad rap, that city, because it just spiraled into madness, especially when you're not in a certain city and things, so what I'm saying to your listeners is just be convicted in what you know is right for what you're doing, and just be okay with saying, oh, well, it's not working for you. So then we can part ways. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to.
It ties into the theme even of being you and the brand, keeping the brand, its authentic, quirky, original, unique self, and not diluting it for the sake of volume.
Yes.
Irony is the volume will come because of its uniqueness. Like,
yes, very much so.
Like, this is great for me, like talking to you guys seriously, because you're you're further in the process than me. Your brand is 10 years old. Mine is 4 years old. The first 3 were in the pandemic. So our company.
That was a crazy time. No one in the fitness industry wants to read.
No, I know, but our company is still very mom and popish and small. Like it's still a mom and pop. So it's interesting, Emily, to hear you remark on like we're in the brink of explosion. It's interesting to hear the perspective of some people just kind of want you to keep playing small. That was good for me.
And those are the special times. Like as crazy it is when you're doing everything and you're working, sun up to sundown. That never goes away. If you're an entrepreneur, my husband always says, if you're an entrepreneur, you're working 100 hours for yourself, so you're not working 40 hours for someone else. And it's true. Right?
It's our anaerobic lifestyle. Not enough.
Yes. Yeah. So it's so good. And it's just, I think just keep doing where it takes you. And it's okay to play small, but don't make people feel like you have to play small, because there's big things waiting out there for you, and opportunities and connections. Like just even, you never know, like us connecting, where that can take you. Like we've really tried to connect and support other fitness formats and things. Like we have so many friends who have started formats and things, and we try to be like, okay, what do you need? Because I've been down that road and that's not a good road. So let me help you. And I think because in the fitness industry, there is room for every workout. Like there's room for everyone, because hello, fitness, you want to do different things. like whatever brings someone joy. It's not, people are like, oh, but you think Kai's the best. I'm like, well, obviously I love it, but like people shouldn't do it every single day, all day long. Like, it's fitness. Like there's room. Yeah. And what connects with someone is not going to connect with everyone. Like it's not meant for everyone. And that's why it's so great. Whatever you're doing to move your body is a good thing. Like that's what we want. We want people to move their bodies. And so I think it's just, the more support and connections that you can make, because being an entrepreneur in the fitness industry is a wild ride, friends. And it is a weird industry, and you just got to stick together. And so that's my thoughts on that.
I agree. It's abundance mindset. Just like when you walked into that gym in Calgary, I feel the same way. I feel like the more we can lift each other up, there's room for us all. It's not a zero-sum pie. And that mindset is not for winners. Like, we're not going to win in a competitive mindset. So, okay, I know you have children that want to come in, and I know you're in a chiropractic office. So listen, let's do some sort of wrapping up here. One, have you told us everything you want to about your brands? Like, is high based on high low? Like when I started in the fitness industry and it was like no equipment and we're like bopping around to music. Is that like, tell us what the format, tell us quickly, like what's high? I know you just did high, low, and yo, but give us a little bit more about what each program is like.
Yeah. So high, low. So yes, exactly what you said. It's based from old school aerobics. So we took old school aerobics and kind of made it modern. And that's what we did. And the reason why we want to do that is we're like, why did this go away? It's amazing because it's simple. So it's choreography. It's fun. It's all choreographed to music. So it is, but it's very simple. It's only 4 to 5 moves per song. And you're doing lunges and squats and tuck jumps and burpees and, you know, like these functional fitness moves, but it's like entertaining because you're doing it to the music. So that was our original high. And it follows a formula of like warm up, toner, cardio, toner. So it kind of spikes the heart rate, brings it down. So our original format high is kind of like a HIIT training in essence. You hit a cardio push peak, you know, peak tracks in the middle, you do a bar track at the end, you do abs and arms, like it's a full body, no equipment workout. So what we found is people love that. And it will always be our bread and butter. But a lot of people are like, I'm not jumping, I'm not doing this. And so we created low, which is totally high low, like that's where the name came from, right? That old school aerobics, and it's a low impact version. So there's no burpees, there's no tuck jumps. And what it does is instead of, you know, kind of being on that level 3, we start at level 1 where it's low impact. And then if you want, you can go higher impact and you bring it down. And so that's where that came from. So there's still the same intensity, the same energy, the same fun, just lower impact version. Okay. And then yo is we'll be really quick because we got to wrap this up. Amber is a yoga. She's a 20-hour. She's been certified in yoga for many, many years. Like 20 years. She did all the training. She loves it, everything. I'm ADD brain over here. I'm like, I can't do that, whatever. I'll just keep dancing. But long story short, over COVID, we like hired someone to teach us yoga, like our staff, you know, just to get together. And she kept being really flaky. And I was like, Amber, why don't you just teach it? And then she was like, there needs to be a bridge because yoga is amazing. It is so amazing. But between group fitness and sometimes yoga, there's this wedge where people are like,
that's where my brand lives in that lane.
Yes. Okay, good. Yes, that's great. So you're right in there too. So what we did is we started this really fun, just like no pressure, not really zen, but like deep stretch to music. And just to help people fall in love with stretching again.
Okay,
to kind of like, yeah.
That's different than my brand is not a deep stretch. It's like,
yeah.
It's like yoga on crack.
Yeah. I love that kind of stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Ours is a group fitness version of yoga. So it's slow holds and stuff, but it's set to fun music.
Yeah.
So yours is like moving and doing kind of yoga-esque moves, yes?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like, is yours more yin, like you're holding poses?
Stretching.
Yeah.
I want to try yours. Can you send us a link and we'll try?
Oh my gosh, let's work out.
And we'll send you and you can check it out and see what you think.
I would love it. Okay, wait, by the way, the first time I heard of your brand, I was a presenter for Beachbody and I was at a conference and this was maybe, I swear, I'm going to guess it was 10 years ago, maybe 8, but like it must have been in your infancy. And I don't remember which conference it was, like whether it was IDEA or SCW. And I was presenting for Beachbody, but I was like, and I don't know if it was the two of you. I don't know who it was, but it was like all these cute blonde girls, like maybe 4 of them.
Was it like on a stage? Like, was it at IDEA? We went to IDEA in Vegas, like probably 7 years ago. Yeah, we had big stage. Yeah.
And we went big. We
went big.
I just remember some like blonde cutie pies and so also I love the bolt for your brand because you're both so like high energy and it's just okay. So we'll have to end with our confessions. Amber is now, for those of you who are listening, which is most podcasts, you know, most people consume podcasts audibly. She's now sitting in her car. She's left the chiropractic office. So before we get to your confessions, anything else you wanted to say about just like unleashing the power of being your true authentic self before we take it home?
Well, I just think that like, you know, just being kind, like I think being your true self is also just like being open and being kind and just being a good human. Like the more that we are just like, you know what, I'm going to look at people and know that nobody's perfect. They're going to say things that offend me. They're going to say like, nobody's perfect, but like giving people like the benefit. Amber's going to be like, no, we're opposite. But I just think like, you know, like I try to be like harder on people because I've been, you know, pulled, you know,
burned.
Well, yeah, I've been burned a few times, but that's just like my natural essence is to look at people and say like, okay, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because I'm not perfect and I'm human. And I think it just opens our eyes up to like who we want to be. The more we like interact with different people and like get to know people who are different than us, it's like, who am I and who do I want to be? Like that person was so inspiring to me, like, hearing parts of your story. And now I want to interview you on a podcast.
Yeah, I
but
love
yeah,
it. I love you. You're
yeah. And
awesome.
so I think like, it's just like hearing people and being like, okay, I love that about them. And like, taking parts of us and becoming who we are by learning more about other people. So,
And I've been guilty of this is like, I don't like that. And Emily's really taught me like, even with song choices or whatever, like to be open. And then you evolve as a person, like you grow and evolve as a person when you're stuck, when you have like set standards of this is who I am. And that's it, then the growing potential gets stifled because then you don't figure other things out that you like. And I'm guilty of that. Like, I don't like that. And then it's like, oh, actually, I do like that. So Emily is the opposite. Like, she's up for anything. She's ready. And I'm like, yeah, I'll sit back here and see how it goes for you guys. And the same with people. Like, she is in, and I'm like, I'm going to get to know them. But once I do, I'm like all in. But it takes me like, so I think that's what's good about us too, is that we're very opposite that way, that we've taught each other. Like I've taught her, like, you don't have to like, you can be cautious about people. And she's been like, you can like, maybe you'll like this. It might be fun. So she's really enthusiastic. And I love that about her, is that she's up for a party at all times and just like open to fun, and has gotten me out of my little, I drag my feet in the mud, and I'm like, I'm not into that. And so that's one thing too, is that you'll evolve as a person, and that's exciting too. You don't have to always be X or Y when, you can grow and learn different things. So that's something that's fun.
Such a great tip. Oh my goodness. And you girls have just been smiling the whole entire time. I love your energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so so that we always end the shows with a confession, and it can really be anything. It's just goes with the title of it, keeps it spicy, but it doesn't have to be spicy. Anything related to fitness or your career in fitness, or I don't know, maybe your personal life. What is a confession? Who wants to go first?
Emily's going first on this deal.
I am. Okay, well, I don't know if this is like a confession or a toxic trait or something, but like I feel like a confession is I like to like buy all these clothes. Like I love fashion clothes that I never wear because I'm always in sweats or like fitness clothes. Like my confession is like I'm like toxic trait is buy all those jeans that just sit on a thing, but like like that's one thing I'm always like, oh yeah, I gotta buy this outfit. And then I'm like, oh, I'm in the same sweats for the fourth date. I don't know, maybe that comes with being a fitness instructor. But I'm always like, I love fashion, love that. And then I'm like, but actually, who am I? I don't even know what my fashion is these days because all I wear is fitness stuff. But I will say, like, one thing I love is like I'm constantly like, oh, I'll try that fitness fashion because I get so sick of like wearing the same things all the time. And so, but that's like a toxic trait, buying a bunch of clothes that I'm never actually going to wear, because turns out I just wear sweats and fitness clothes. So.
That's great. Probably super relatable for everyone listening.
Well, if that's toxic, I'm right in there with you there, girl. I also thrift on top of it. So I've got double doozy going on. I got the new, I got the thrift. So that's amateur. Confession. I think that my confession would be that I was with an abusive partner before my husband, and it broke me. Like it really, I was when I met Emily and my husband, I was a shell of the person that I am now. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about like people finding soul connections, because like it's so game changing. Like the difference between, I think back to like, had I stayed with that person, and I shudder to think of what my life would look like. Like truly, it like makes me cry. Like I would probably be in like a women's shelter, poor, like with on the food stamps. Like that's not even a joke. Like, that's how bad it was. And so, just like for people to know that like people that love you don't hurt you. I know that sounds so simple, but like when you're in it, you're like, oh, it's because I did this, or it's because I did that they're treating me like that. Take that out of it. If they hurt you, that is not love.
Yeah.
because my husband now is just like pure love. And the difference is so crazy.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's true.
I was in an abusive relationship too, and I think like I don't I would have I would be a shell of myself today had I stayed. It's one of my favorite fitness mentors says like one of like the most important decision in your life is who you hitch your wagon to.
Oh,
And you know,
I love that.
yeah, and I mean, and also like women that are in abusive relationships, thank you for saying that. Like they don't see it because they're clouded. Their vision is tunnel. It's like not seeing the tree for the forest, or however that expression goes. Like they don't know, and they justify and they rationalize and they blame themselves. And like it's the statistics are scary. Like how many women actually stay. So I know you're going to do a dating app someday, but you also maybe ought to do some divorce counseling, because sometimes the right thing is to get out. Sometimes the right thing is to fight for the relationship, and sometimes the right thing to do is to get out. But you're right, like being called names, like being scared,
Yeah.
being hurt, like these things are not the right relationship. And I know that was like a wild turn to this podcast, but
It is. No, it is, but it is. And you try to kind of like, and that's why the confession thing made me kind of talk about it, is because I always kind of downplay it, like, oh, he was an asshole. But like, the truth is that you get very stuck, and you're so beat down, and they have a way of like, kind of like shifting your mind, gaslighting you, I guess, to think like, oh, it's my fault, or he's not doing that, I'm making that up, or what. It gets so crazy that you don't even realize that it's happening to you till you're like, I didn't have kids. I got out before it all like got so stuck, but I had a stepson and I loved his stepson, and that was something that he'd hold over me, kind of like, he loves you and this and that. But something that was interesting that happened, like the universe is so, we were off and on so much because I came from such a tumultuous relationship. All I wanted was like kids and a home and all these things. So it was off and on constantly. I knew it was wrong. And that's another thing too. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. It's 100% no. If it's not hell yes, it's no. So it was back and forth and back and forth. And that's why I kept saying that my husband kept coming into my life, because I worked at Heavens at the time. In the meantime, he worked out there, and I'd constantly see him, and it was nothing, like there wasn't a relationship, but he would just be like, hi, and so nice. And like, I just see him all the time. And his trainer was like, I think Zach likes you. And I was like, oh, well, I'm with someone. And she's like, oh. And then when we had broken up, I said to the trainer, like, oh, I'd go out with Zach. And then she never told him. And I ended up back in the abusive relationship. And then when it was finally, like, when I finally was like rock bottom, like, and I say that in every way, I said to her, why did Zach never ask me out? And she's like, I forgot to tell him. And so then he called me right away, and we kind of started dating and stuff. But like, this was crazy, is that we were dating, and I dropped him off at the airport, and I was in his vehicle, and I picked him up, and we still owned a house together, me and my ex. So we had to kind of stay in contact. And he said, oh, my son misses me, he was very manipulative. And then at the same time, Zach texted me, I'm here. And I was like, oh, I gotta go. And I like hung up, and I went and I pulled up at the airport to pick up my husband. And we like did not know each other well. This was the initial stages. And all of a sudden someone rear ends me, and I'm in his car. Someone rear ends me, and I'm literally crying thinking about this. He runs to my window like, are you okay? And meanwhile, like my ex would have been like, my car, you know what I mean? So
yes,
it was like
yes,
it was this crazy like thing from God, I swear. And then he goes back and he's like, oh, there's no damage. There was no damage. But it was this thing that had to happen to like,
yes, it was to reveal his character.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. So like,
his reference point was you, but he didn't
even care about the car. The car wasn't even on. He just ran to the window like, are you okay? Like, that was crazy. So that's the thing that I want people to know, is that there is light on the other side, and light in the way that, I mean, of course, nothing's perfect. We've been together 15 years, we bug each other, we drive each other nuts, all the things. But at the end of the day, there's love. And that's love doesn't hurt. And that, I mean, this took a total turn, but but that is also part of what we do with high fitness is like we give people the confidence to see what their value is.
Yeah, it relates. It's not, it is a turn, but it relates. And also back to the whole like going, not fighting it and going with the flow. Probably we had some listeners that needed to hear it. No?
Yeah, no, usually things like this come out for a reason for someone to hear it and go, oh, but I promise you, you will not ever regret getting away from someone that is unhealthy to you. You'll never regret it. You'll never regret it. Ever, ever, ever.
Oh my goodness. I remember my ex would say, like, and I would believe him, no one will ever love you. Like he used to say so, like, no one will ever love you. And I was like, he's right, you know, it's just crazy. So anyway.
No, I think that's a very common statement from abusers, like because
like
they beat you down.
Yeah, there's an archetype. They absolutely, they want us
it's crazy. Like I still have nightmares. Can you believe that? 15 years later, I still have nightmares because it's just crazy. So anyways, that took a total turn, but finding your value and being you. Yes. And that's the thing. He didn't want me to be me either. I dyed my hair black. I wore lots of makeup to try to like make him like me, you know, like it was not me because I was, so that it all goes back to that. Mm-hmm. And so, and Emily, like the two people that I found at heaven, no pun intended. And that's a point that we forgot to bring up about this whole craziness is that Heaven is an old school aerobics studio.
It is?
Yeah, it started as that. Yeah.
Who owns it right now? Is it still around?
Yeah.
Are they like so excited
and Amber just started teaching high there this past year. Like in a full circle moment. She came back.
Are they like so proud that they were kind of like the birthplace?
Yeah, they're super sweet.
Great. It's awesome. I think so. It's Helen Vanderberg. You might know her. She's a pretty big.
Shut up. I know Helen Vanderberg.
Yeah, she's great.
I'm going to have her on. I'll talk. Wait, she owns that studio?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, it's a small industry. That's something else I'm always talking about. It's a small industry.
Yeah, because she's from another country. You wouldn't think like that you from back east would know. You know what I mean? It is a small industry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not back east. I'm on your side of the country.
Oh, you're on my side. I got confused.
Are you in Cali?
Back east. Sorry.
I'm in Oregon.
Yes,
you're in Oregon. Oh, wow.
I had the hardest.
I didn't realize that.
I hate your time zone, by the way, Mountain Time Zone. I had to Google it like 20 times. And then when you guys were a little tiny bit late, I was like, I must be like an hour early.
No.
Tiny bit late.
All right, girls. It was
so great.
Wonderful getting to know you both. And I just pray blessings on your incredible business. And how can everybody, I just started following you guys today. So how can we find you on social media, your personal accounts, and then the brand and all that jazz?
Yeah, so our brand is at high.fitness and then I'm at High Fitness Emily and Amber is her name at Amber Zenith. So and we also have a live stream if people want to try it. We have a full app where people can do it from home. We have all our formats, 15-minute workouts, 10-minute workouts. So if anyone wants to try it, message us. There's a 7-day free trial too. We'd love to let you try. So
I saw that like when I was preparing to get on with you very quickly running from class, I was like at a stoplight and I like Googled High Fitness and I saw the app. It's lovely. And I saw the 7-day free trial. It's just beautiful. So I'll put links to all that in the show notes too, in case you don't remember, you can just pull it up and click on it. But thank you ladies so much for your time and just what you're doing. I've heard you use the word disruptive, and that's obviously what you guys are doing with kindness and enthusiasm and just so much beauty. So thanks for being on.
And we want to try what you do. Can you send us your workout? Because we need to try this. Like, we want to be a part of what you're doing, because whatever you're doing, I want to be a part of it. Like, I love your energy. You're amazing. You're so cool. I can imagine. It's incredible.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for joining in on the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. If you're interested in becoming a warrior instructor, go to warriorinstructors.com. But if you want more and found this episode amazing, please give us a rating. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. So remember, be brave, be bold, be blessed. And above all, listen, learn, love.